So when it comes to doing reading passage one, and specifically, and I'm really talking about in particular to factual texts, as we can see through the screen, passage one, we have a lot of sometimes we tend to understand notes completion that it comes in order. However, that's not always the case. We can see that it could be quite tricky in terms of grammar because it tends to paraphrase things, and sometimes we need a powerful vocabulary word. So yeah, I think I mean, I would say, however, 95% of the time when you face notes completion, you will have answers coming in order. However, that's not always the case. You have to make sure you know that. And other than that, I just really want to see Middle Ages Europeans, the VOC and the Treaty of Breda. So just because it comes in the middle, in between notes completion, two notes completions, I think I will have to navigate somewhere around in the middle as well. So so VOC, I can find the VOC and the Europeans. I need to find Europeans. I have European, Europe, and Middle Ages. Okay, and I need to find two of these numbers. 1770, because you can see that it comes to the very last, and all these numbers. The Deutsch, and yeah, finally we got that. All the Deutsch, and you really need to highlight as much as possible to skim through. All right, let's begin. The leaves of the tree are something in shape. So the something surrounds the fruit and breaks open when the fruit is ripped. When the fruit is ripped means it's ready, it's edible. You can consume it. So the something is used to produce the spice nutmeg. And other than that, the covering known as the aril, let me to find the word aril, you can see that, is used to produce something else. The tree has yellow flowers and fruit. I already uh, navigated through that, and we can see it over here. Now let's get started. I'm going to change the color. So the nutmeg tree, Myristica fragrans, is a large evergreen tree native to Southeast Asia. Until the late 18th century, it had only grew in one place in the world, a small group of islands in the Banda Sea, part of the Moluccas or Spice Islands in northern eastern Indonesia. The tree is thickly branched with dense foliage of dough, dark green oval leaves. So we already have the answer oval. So the word dark green oval leaves, the word leaves already. Many people do not know the word oval. Oval is a shape. Oval is a it's kind of a figure. It's like a really circle, but vertically they are a little bit dense. So the something else surrounds the fruit. All right, we want to highlight that this part. So we know the answer number one here. Oh, and produces small yellow bell-shaped flowers and pale yellow pear-shaped fruit. The fruit is encased. The word encased means surrounded. I mean surrounds. So I'm gonna take that. Surrounds as the word encased. I'm gonna change the font here to 14. There we go. All right. So the fruit is encased in a flesh husk. I'm not necessarily sure what husk means, but yeah. I did know that earlier, but I kind of forgot about that now. All right. So the husk, answer number two. When the fruit is ripped, this husk splits into two halves along a ridge running the length of the fruit. Inside is a purple-brown shiny seed, 2 to 3 centimeters long by about 2 centimeters across, surrounded by a lacy red or crimson covering called an aril. Okay. And these are the sources of two spices, nutmeg and mace. So the covering known as the aril is used to produce mace. So the covering, so these are the sources of two spices, nutmeg and mace. So the former being produced from the dried seed. So the former is talking about the former is talking about the lacy red that produces nutmeg, and the crimson covering called an aril produces a maize. So the covering known as the aril is used to produce maize. So yeah, there you go, guys. You just need to understand these parts really. What is that answer about? Um, Whoops, this is not here. I think the maize should come to this part instead of that. Hold on. No, it's not that. The it's no. I think number four is maize, but here the something is used to spice nutmeg. It's a seed. The seed is used to produce spiced nutmeg. So the former being produced from the dried seed and latter from the arrow. So the seed produces the nutmeg and the arrow produces the maize. So there you go. Seed produces spiced nutmeg, which is the nutmeg, and the arrow produces the maize. There we go. In the Middle Ages, nutmeg was a highly prized and costly ingredient in European cuisine in the Middle Ages, and was hold on here. I'm just gonna tab number four. And was used as a flavoring, medicinal, and preservative agent. Throughout this period, the Arabs were the exclusive importers of the spice to Europe. So the nutmeg was brought to Europe by Arabs. Just gonna take that as well. Whoops. All right, I'm gonna take that. So throughout the something. So this is question number 8. They sold nutmeg for high prices to merchants based in Venice, but they never revealed the exact location of the sources of this extremely valuable commodity. In the Middle Ages, most Europeans knew where nutmeg was grown. The answer is false. The answer is false because they said they never revealed the exact location of the source of this extremely valuable commodity. So the answer to answer number 5, pretty simple. Factual texts are really easy to navigate. They never revealed means they never knew the location, the exact part of the location. The VOC of the world's first the VOC was the world's first major trading company following the Treaty of Breda. Did I find the Treaty of Breda? Treaty of Breda was over here. Treaty of Breda, the Dutch had control of all islands where nutmeg grew. All right. Then, always in danger of competition from neighboring Spain, the Portuguese began subcontracting their spice distribution to Dutch traders. Profits began to flow in the Netherlands, and the Dutch commercial fleet swiftly grew into one of the largest in the world. The Dutch quietly gained control of the most of the shipping and the trading of spices in northern Europe. Then, in 1580, Portugal fell under Spanish rule, and by the end of 16th century, the Dutch found themselves locked out of the market as prices for pepper, nutmeg, and other spices soared across Europe. They decided to fight back. So in 1602, Dutch merchants founded the VOC, a trading corporation better known as the Dutch East India Company. By 1670, the VOC was the richest commercial operation in the world. The company had 50,000 employees worldwide, with a private army of 30,000 men and a fleet of 200 ships. Not sheeps, but ships. Sheeps is an animal. So the answer here is going to be not given. There we go. So the reason of not given is the first major trading company, but here it says the richest, but it doesn't say whether or not it was the first. Whether or not it was the first major trading company, richest commercial operation. The sentence between richest commercial operation versus the first major trading company is really huge if you contrast them both. So yeah. Moreover, the company had blah blah blah. At the same time, thousands of people across Europe were dying of the plague, a highly contagious and deadly disease. All right, I'm gonna take that as well. So demand for nutmeg grew as it was believed to be effective against the disease known as the plague. The Dutch took control of the Banda Islands and so on. Doctors were desperate for a way to stop the spread of this disease, and they decided nutmeg held the cure. Everybody wanted nutmeg, and many were willing to spare no expense to have it. Nutmeg, bought for a few pennies in Indonesia, could be sold for 68,000 times its original cost in the streets of London. The only problem was the short supply, and that's where the Dutch found their opportunity. The Banda Islands were ruled by local sultans who insisted on maintaining a neutral trading policy towards foreign powers. This allowed them to avoid the presence of Portuguese or Spanish troops on their soil, but it also left them unprotected from other invaders. In 1621, the Dutch arrived and took over again. Once securely in control of the bandas, the Dutch went to work protecting their investment. So they took control of the Banda Island again, restricted the nutmeg production to few areas. We modified that. They concentrated all nutmeg production into a few easily guarded areas. We already have that as well. Uprooting and destroying any trees outside the plantation zone. Anyone caught growing a nutmeg seedling or carrying seeds without the proper authority was severely punished. In addition, all exported nutmeg was covered with lime to make sure there was no chance a fertile seed, which could be grown elsewhere, would leave the islands. There we go. So put something on nutmeg to avoid it being cultivated outside the islands. So they put lime on nutmeg. Was covered on, was a preposition on, is covered. On means on top of a nutmeg. So covering is obviously on top of it. So finally, I'm taking the island of something from the British. So there was only one obstacle to Deutsch nomination. One of the Banda Islands is a sliver of land called Run, only 3 kilometers long by less than 1 kilometer wide, was under the control of the British. After decades of fighting for control for this tiny island, the Dutch and British arrived at a compromise settlement, the Treaty of Breda, in 16. So the following of Treaty Breda, the Dutch had control of all the islands where nutmeg grew. So the Deutsch had control. Intent on securing their hold over every nutmeg producing island, the Dutch offered a trade. If the British would give them the island of Run, they would in turn give a Britain a distant uh, and much less valuable island in North America. The British agreed. That other island was Manhattan, which is how New Amsterdam became New York. The Dutch now had a monopoly over the nutmeg trade, which will last for another century. So the answer is true here. So the Dutch had a monopoly. So the Dutch had a monopoly means the Dutch had control. There we go. The finally obtained the island of something from the British. Okay. Then in 1770, no. Where did they get that from? Lime? Ah, there was only and one obstacle up to a domination. One of the islands, as a sliver of land called Run, only 3 times kilometer, blah blah blah, was under the control of the British. After decades of fighting for control of this tiny island, Dutch British arrived at a compromise settlement, the Treaty of Breda. So they finally obtained the island of Run from the British. So then in the 1770, a Frenchman named Pierre Pauvre successfully smuggled nutmeg plants to safety in Mauritius. So the answer here, nutmeg plants were secretly taken to Mauritius. Mauritius. Well, I don't know how to pronounce that. Mauritius. So the reason that is the word here is the answer here is Mauritius, but not safety. Let me actually first of all highlight that. The reason that it's not safety, but because question 12, the preposition to, the preposition to fits the location rather than a concept, which is safety. So, and of course, again, why not safety, but Mauritius? The answer for that is because it describes the condition. The safety defines the condition or the purpose, whereas the preposition to is describing about the specific location. So the Mauritius is going to be the correct answer because it's not asking about the concept. So and Half of the island nutmeg plantation was destroyed by a something. So in 1778, I'm just gonna go in 1778, a volcanic eruption in the Banda region caused a tsunami that wiped out half the nutmeg groves. So tsunami is the answer here as well. So they were not destroyed by a. Again, there's an indefinite article over here, right? So a. So a volcanic eruption. You cannot say by a volcanic. You have to say you could have said by an eruption, but or by a volcanic something else. I wouldn't say that wouldn't grammatically fit at all. So because volcanic eruption caused, so there was a volcanic eruption, and the volcanic eruption caused tsunami, and the tsunami destroyed the plantation. There you go. So one after another. So I think there we go, guys. We finished passage one, and it was pretty easy, I guess. So what was the answer here over here? I'm gonna underline that carefully and take answer number 13 as in the spot. So yeah, there we go, guys. We've finally finished it. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment down below. And yeah, we will we will do the second one in upcoming videos. The passage number two, which I'm not sure what is it about. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. If you liked it, make sure to smash that like button. If you did not, I am pretty fine with the dislike button as well. And however, yeah, once again, thank you very much, guys. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.